Lisa, being part of the New York scene certainly has some crazy tales.
There would always be some weird things that happen at my shows, like people trying to grab me and abduct me, or trying to convert me into vampirism. We had a little person manager who would rough up the club owners to get us paid. That would often turn into a fight, and they would just sort of spill out into the street fighting with these coked out club owners and, in their bondage wear. It was fun.
Maybe sunshine!
One of mine is early in my musical career. It was Halloween, and I was walking through Astor Place, and I saw this huge group of goths just standing around the cube on Astor Place. And I was so intrigued that I walked up to them and I said, who are you? I don't recognize any of you from the New York City scene. Who are you? And this one sort of stout fellow stepped forth in his makeshift Gothic finery, and he said, well, I am so-and-so, and I run a internet goth meetup group, and I get these people, and we get together and we go to events. And I said, are you guys coming to my show tonight at Downtime? And they said, we are actually. We're going to go see Current 93 at the Angel Orensanz Foundation, and then afterwards we're going to come see you. And I said, that's fantastic. And I thought, this guy is really on top of things, and he really seems to know what he's doing. He made good on his word, and there was maybe an additional 20 people who came to the show who were part of his group. And afterward he said, I'd very much like to book you for one of my events. And I said, well, he clearly is someone in the know, and clearly is someone people listen to. I should absolutely do whatever he tells me to. So I said, where is this event? He said, well, I'm going to ask you a favor. I'm just going to have an intimate little party. And for starters, I'd just like to invite you to my party and invite you to my vampire friends. And I said, that sounds like fun. Where's your party? And he said, well, it's in such and such a place, New Jersey. I'm a Manhattanite. When someone says it's in New Jersey, you might as well say it's in Omaha, Nebraska. So I thought, oh, God, it's in New Jersey. I don't want to go to New Jersey. I don't want to go to a party. Orville, do you want to go to a party in New Jersey? No. Right. Neither do I. So I was talking to my then girlfriend, who eventually became the mother of my child, because I put my penis inside of her. She convinced me that we should go because it would be fun. Now, on the invitation, it said something. It was a dark Yule party. It was a Christmas party, I think. And we decided that we were going to really bring the A game. So we went to Chinatown and bought all of the weirdest things we could find. We found these long pieces of black jelly that looked like slugs, and we put them in a jar with simple syrup so they looked like slugs in a jar. We found these white circular jellied things that had veins running through them that looked like goat eyeballs. So we made a jar of goat eyeballs. We brought all of these strange alcoholic elixirs, and I bought these really, really ornate glass bottles, and everything had some really, really crazy name. I said, I'm going to show up at this party, and I'm going to really bring the dark Yule, and these people will appreciate this because they are real vampires. So we drive out to New Jersey, and we get to the address, and I look at my girlfriend, who looked nothing like Orville, and I said, this can't be the right address. This is a suburban home in a cul-de-sac in the middle of a suburb somewhere in New Jersey, and all the lights are out in the entire neighborhood. This can't be it. And after some chiding, she finally challenged me to ring the doorbell. So I go up and I ring the doorbell, and I'm certain that someone's going to come out screaming, what are you doing ringing my doorbell at 12 midnight? And the guy in question comes out in his makeshift Gothic finery, and he says, welcome to my home. Come in. And I'm thinking, oh, this is where the rapes happen. This is where we get drugged and raped in New Jersey. So we follow him through his suburban home, and he's asking us to be very, very quiet, which I thought was kind of odd. And then he leads us up this stairway into the attic. Aha, I'm going up to the attic. Now, when we get into the attic, it's an attic like any other, except there's a giant pentagram painted onto the ground, and there are candles everywhere. and it looks like he's ready to perform some kind of satanic ceremony. And the only thing giving me any reassurance is the fact that there are a dozen or so goth kids in black vinyl pants and in black capes sitting on the floor in this room, and there's music quietly playing, and I thought, well, I guess this is a party of some sort. So then I start unloading the goat eyeballs, and the slug's blood, and the elixir of blood from the heart of an infant, and all of these crazy things we had brought. And everyone just stared at us like we were the weirdest people in the world. And I couldn't get anybody to imbibe any of these potions that we had created or to eat any of these exotic foods that we brought. And as I look around, I realize that all of these kids are drinking Coronas and doing Jello shots. And I'm like, oh, Jersey goth. It's different from New York goth. So at this point, the host reminds me that he had sent me an email that said, there's going to be a jam session. We're all going to bring instruments and we're all going to play music. So did you bring your guitar? And I said, yes, I got that email and I brought my guitar with me. And he says, great, so are you ready to perform for my friends? And I said, well, I thought you were inviting me to a party and there was going to be a jam session. And he said, well, nobody brought instruments, so would you mind performing for my friends? And I said, I guess I could. And I said, but it's kind of cramped up here. Can we do it downstairs? And he looked kind of shocked. And he's like, I guess we can. So we all quietly creep down into the living room. And they all sit, all these little gothlings sit on the plush carpet and the nice convertible sofa. And I pull out my guitar and I just start caterwauling my songs. Die, 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 da da die, die, da da die, da da die. Watch them die. And I just see him getting more and more nervous. And maybe 4 songs in, his mom walks into the room and says, I told you could have a party, Cliff, but you can't have people screaming in the living room. And it was at that point that I realized that I had been invited to a party in this kid's mom's house, and that, that's really, I hadn't been booked to play a show. I was kind of coaxed and fooled into performing for free at some kid's party in New Jersey. And so we had a couple more of our drinks, and obviously nobody appreciated the stuff that we brought. So we packed it all up and we brought it back to New York City where people know what's good. And about a week later, I'm telling this very same story to someone who was there, and they said, you didn't hear? And I said, hear what? Almost immediately after you left, the seance began. And during the seance, a girl pulled out a razor, and she apparently had too much to drink, and she went to slice her wrist a little bit to give a blood offering, and ended up slicing her arm open. So, my greatest lament is that I missed the part where the paramedics showed up to a suburban home in New Jersey, were quietly frog marched up into the attic, where there was a giant pentagram painted on the ground, splattered in blood, and some girl had completely cut herself wide open, candles everywhere, goth music blaring, and this kid having to explain to them that somehow this had nothing to do with Satan.
Maybe sunshine!
Are
Wow.
you fucking kidding
True story.
me?
True story. I did not make that
This is what happens to artists. They always get us to work for free.
Right. And that's the moral of the
The
story.
moral of the story is
Well, I did learn a very valuable lesson, and I have never again played at some kid's party in New Jersey while his mother slept, or tried to.